I was going to do a little video of some of the knives that I carry with me sometimes. Some of these knives I use to make some traps. Some of them I use just to maybe make a little small shelter, wood gathering or something like that. Some of them I use just to keep with me, just more or less to have a knife with me, maybe for defensive purposes or something when I'm out in the woods. But this first one is cold steel, Scout Recon, and carbon 5. All these knives from Cold Steel is carbon 5. I make sure I always try to get the carbon 5 steel in it. But well, that's a thick knife right there. And I don't carry this one quite as much with me. It'll blow through some wood fairly decent for its size. But it's heavy. It's just so dang heavy. I don't normally carry that with me too much, but I have it. It's there if I need it. But my main knife, which I hadn't had too long, which is my old beater knife, is a Cold Steel GI Tanto. And I tell you what, for the money, you cannot beat these knives. Now, I carry this one with me more or less for hard chopping use. And I've had some paracord that I've wrapped around there, and I keep a few things with me. I got a diamond sharpening stone and a little small ferrule rod, and got that encased in some Ranger bands. And with a paracord around the sheath and the lanyard, I got probably about 7 foot of 550 with me. But I really like this knife. I didn't think that I would. I wouldn't buy them before because they put a cord wrapped handle on them, which I can't stand. I do not like a cord wrapped handle. You get out there and get to sweating with your hands or get to cleaning an animal and get some blood on it. Man, it's just, it don't take much for it to be getting kind of gross. But anyway, they started putting these poly handles on them, or Zytail, whatever. I think they call it polypropylene, something. But main thing, they started putting it in this Secure-X sheath, and that was when I bought one. When they done that, I didn't like the regular old Condura sheaths that they had, and didn't like the paracord type or cord wrapped handle. But when they started putting a regular handle on them in that sheath, I said, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get one. You can't beat it. I mean, I have chopped some stuff with that knife right there. It holds a good edge, easy to sharpen. But if I was gonna be out in the field for any, I don't know, extended amount of time, this is also another knife that I keep with me quite a bit, and that's my SRK. Yeah, that's just a real good knife right there, with a handle and a fit and everything of it. You just can't hardly beat the old SRK. And carbon 5, of course. And I keep that knife with me sometimes quite a bit when I'm out in the woods. Here's a UWK, which is another good knife. And I say they're all good knives, but this is more off of that SOG type design. A military knife. It's a good knife, but the handle material on this one and the grip, I'm not a big fan of finger grooves on a knife. Some people are, but they just more or less get in my way. I have big hands and they don't never seem to fit that good, but it's a good knife. It's in carbon 5. And then my old Glock knives, man, I tell you what, I carry that probably more than anything when I'm just out there hunting, because I like to keep a knife on me, and this is so lightweight and it's so easy to go right or left-handed. All you gotta do is just flip the knife around. So I really like that about them. You know, you can just turn it around and it's just reversible, and it's not a heavy knife at all, so it's not good for any kind of chopping. But if you was out there and I guess Bigfoot jumped on you, you know, it's got a good stabbing type blade on it, but it probably wouldn't be your best shelter blade. But like I say, I always like having a knife with a little size on it when I'm out in the field hunting, anything of the sort. And I've done a little bit of custom knife making, nothing serious, but I've got a few knives here that I've made some sheaths. This was one of my first sheaths I ever made, and ain't nothing to brag about, but it turned out pretty decent, I think, for my first sheath. And I think this was the third one that I made, and it turned out a lot better. But I mess around with knives a little bit, and I wanted to try to rehandle this one with some of this green micarta. This old green canvas micarta, I tell you what, I love that stuff. It's just makes a perfect knife handle material. You know, I like this. A lot of people like G10, you know, it's good too, but my favorite is just the old canvas green micarta, which I like tan too, or brown. But anyway, that's just a little view of my knives here, and of all of them that I'm getting the most use out of right now, though, is that old GI Tanto, because man, you talk about a good beater knife. And that old 1055 carbon steel, man, it's tough. It is really tough, which are all tough. I believe that cold steel, I'm not sure, but I know that some of their runs of their carbon 5 is sometimes 1095 carbon, and I believe some of it, which is mighty close equivalent or something, I've heard them do strike test on it, a 52-100, but they're all good steels. All good steels. But anyway, thought I might just make a quick video of that. I'm fixing to work on a few traps right now, so I'm fixing to go to work with the old GI Tanto. I'm out.